If you're like me, you might spend a lot of time browsing watch forums and watch websites without any real idea of what you're looking for. More often than not, I end up looking at a watch that I can't afford or that's just overpriced. But that is not at all what we're talking about today. Today, we're looking at the Seiko SNK809, which might just be the best watch under $100, especially if you're looking for an automatic. Now, depending on where you buy it, you can find this watch for as little as $65. I usually see it for closer to $85 on Amazon, but I'll link to a couple places to check the current price down below in the description. Seiko has a real winner with the SNK809, and at this price point, there's really nothing else like it. No, it's not perfect, and there are a few small gripes along the way, but overall, this watch offers tremendous value for its price. Let's look at what makes the SNK809 so special. It's hard to look at this watch as anything other than utilitarian. It's not beautiful or fancy or flashy or a lot of the other things that a lot of people look for in a nice watch. But with its matte aluminum finishing, clean dial, and by today's standards, compact 37mm case, this watch is an exercise in simplicity. The SNK809 carries a military vibe that's somewhere in between a classic pilot's watch and a rugged field watch. At 37mm in diameter and just 11mm thick, it can definitely slide under the cuff of any button-up shirt, but it's not so thin that it feels super dressy, and in my opinion, this watch definitely leans casual. Yes, you could put it on like a patent leather strap and dress it up a little bit, but I think it's a more casual watch. Over the dial, Seiko opted for its own in-house Hardlex over regular mineral crystal or sapphire. It's not quite as hard or scratch resistant as sapphire crystal, but it's a definite upgrade from your normal cheap acrylic or mineral glass that you'll find on a lot of low-end watches. Seiko's tradition of placing the crown at the 4 o'clock position continues with this watch. There's no manual wind feature here, so if the watch isn't ticking, you have to shake it gently or wear it for a few minutes to engage the automatic winder in the movement. And this is probably a good thing because the crown is very small, so it would be hard to wind manually. It also doesn't have a screw down functionality, so that limits the water resistance of this watch to just 30 meters. So it's okay in rain, but I probably wouldn't go swimming with it. And honestly, that is one of the biggest drawbacks of this watch. If it had more water resistance, it could be a true everyday beater. But I do like the position and size of the crown. It's tucked away and it doesn't jut out like on some other field watches like the Hamilton Khaki Mechanical. So if you like this clean silhouette, or if you find that big crowns dig into your wrist, I think you'll really like the crown on this watch. We have to talk about the strap, which is easily the weakest point of this watch. I mean, at this price, it's not surprising to see a cheap canvas strap, but this one is pretty bad. The black nylon material looks and feels cheap. It's not comfortable on your wrist. You can feel it rubbing against your skin, and it snags on clothing and other materials. Yes, this stock strap will break in and be more comfortable over time, but given the price of this watch, I think it makes sense to spend an extra $15 or $25 on a nicer strap. You can either just get a nicer canvas nylon strap like this one from Barton Bands that I'll link to down below in the description. You could put it on a leather or a NATO or even like a soft rubber strap, and any of these will make the watch look and feel much more premium. So real quick, we'll talk about the movement, but keep in mind, I'm not an expert when it comes to mechanical watch movements. There are a lot of really great reviews for this watch that go into detail about this in-house Seiko automatic movement, but all you have to know if you're more of a casual wearer is that it is a mechanical watch and it's an automatic mechanical watch. So that means that there's no battery and you don't have to wind it. It's the movement of your wrist and the movement of this watch that will keep it wound. The name of the movement is the 7S26. It's produced in-house by Seiko. Of course, it's a mass-produced movement, but Seiko is a huge company. They've been doing this for a long time, and this is generally a very reliable movement. It has a 40-hour power reserve, so that means that if it's fully wound, you can not wear it for up to 40 hours and it will still be ticking. So basically that means you could skip a day and not have to reset this watch. If you wear it every day, it will never stop ticking. Seiko rates this movement at -20 to +40 seconds a day. Again, it's not, the accuracy of a grand Seiko here. You can't expect that at this price point, but I think for most casual wearers, this movement is just fine. Plus, this watch has an exhibition case back. So that means when you're not wearing this watch, you can flip it around and see through the case back. This is also Hardlex crystal, and you can watch the mechanical movement at work. And I personally think, especially if this is like your first watch or your first mechanical watch, this is a really cool feature because there is something so amazing about these tiny mechanical mechanisms just kind of working with no battery or no electricity. And I think that having this see-through case back can really help you fall in love with mechanical watches. And last but definitely not least, let's talk about the dial, because I think the number one most important aspect of a watch is how it looks. You have to love the way it looks, and that's mostly determined by the dial. Like I mentioned before, the SNK809 definitely has that pilot's watch slash field watch aesthetic. The sharp hands are fully loomed, and the second hand is loomed on its counterweight with a flash of red on the pointer end. Each hour marker is accented by a seconds counter that steps up by 5 for each hour, all the way up to 60 seconds. This is definitely a classic pilot's watch feature, and it does make the dial a little bit busier, but I think it fits in nicely with the overall aesthetic. The indices have loomed dots on their outer edge, and there's a day-date window at 3 o'clock. Speaking of which, what a bonus for a watch at this price point to have a day-date complication. Now, depending on where you get your watch, the day is going to have 2 different languages. So, for example, English and French, or Mandarin and Spanish. And while having this day-date complication does make setting your watch a little bit more complicated, once you get used to it, it's really not that hard, and I think having the date on your watch is a very handy feature. The bottom line here is that, assuming your expectations aren't sky high, I think the SNK809 is one of the best watches under $100, definitely even one of the best watches under like $200 to $300. And if you're looking for your first watch, or to buy a watch as a gift for somebody else, especially a younger guy, or if you just want to get your first automatic, I think it's an excellent choice. You should also know that while the 809 is black, this watch is available in a few different colors, including blue, green, and cream, and you can check those all out on Amazon or Joma Shop, or really anywhere else that carries Seikos. The price does fluctuate a little bit, but it's always under $100, and I'll link to the best places to buy this watch down below in the description. And I'd love to hear from you. What do you think about this watch? Let me know down in the comments section below. Thank you as always for watching, and until next time, stay stylish.